Hi, this is Debbie. Welcome to Living the Hobby Farm Dream. We really appreciate all those that have followed along. If you're not following along, please follow us on Spotify and also on YouTube. We really appreciate it. Okay, today's is episode 13. It's going to be, do I need to raise every animal and grow every crop in my garden on a hobby farm? And of course, the answer is no, you don't. Thank goodness. Talk about being overwhelming. And the great thing is that even the things you did decide to raise or grow this season on your farm does not mean that you need to continue raising that animal or growing that crop every single year. If whatever it is does not fit into your life on the farm at that time, or is just too much to handle, it's okay to say we're taking a break from raising cattle or growing 60 varieties of tomatoes this season, or maybe I never want to do that again, so that's okay. You can change your mind about things. But today we're going to talk about some ways of sharing the raising of animals and things like a herd share, buying local products from farmers and growers in your area, supporting small local businesses that sell produce like meat, eggs, chickens, and homemade products for eating and beauty. But first of all, we want to talk about a little bit about what a herd share is. The definition of a herd share is a private agreement where consumers buy just a fractional little ownership stake in, say, like a dairy cow or a herd animal. And instead of buying, like, for instance, the raw milk, you'll pay the farmer a boarding and maintenance type of fee for care of the animal. And then legally, you're entitling them to the milk from their portion of the herd that the herd produces. A lot of times the buy-in members will pay a one-time refundable fee to purchase a specific share of a cow, a goat, or a sheep, just for instance. And then also sometimes you'll pay a monthly or a weekly fee to cover the labor and the feed and the housing for the animals. And the return for helping out with all that is you receive a portion of the raw milk, just for instance. It usually involves the buy-in fee, like just for example, our own personal experience. We have a neighbor who's raising dairy cows, and when the cow that she has now is a baby, when it grows up and starts giving milk, we will help as needed with the care of the cow so that we can in return receive some of the milk. This way we don't have to have the dairy cow on our own property, but we can benefit from being able to get the milk we want at a nearby home. And by participating in the care of this cow and drinking the fresh milk, we may even convince us that we need our own dairy cow. But for now, we are happy that our neighbor has the everyday care in milking of the cow and that we can have a herd share with them. And with a herd share, even if you don't have a big enough yard to have your own animals, you can still get the fresh milk and meat, like if they're raising beef cows. We also have bought raw milk at a local dairy or farm where we've lived in Arizona through the years to drink and to make yogurt. There are also farm stores around out where we live that sell some of the products, goat cheese, homemade goat cheese, and raw milk from cows and from goats. And we have also met farm people that charge a fee for food and care to raise something like a pig for you so that you can have fresh, humanely treated pigs for food for your family. So even pigs can be in this herd share. We also raise laying hens. All of our friends and neighbors do not have laying hens of their own, so we can share our eggs with those around us. We've also sold our eggs on Facebook to our local community when there was an egg shortage, and some other times when we had an abundance of eggs that we way more than we needed for our own family. Then we would sell those on Facebook. We like the idea of sharing our food and giving others a chance to have a quality food in their homes. And once they've tasted the pasture-raised chickens or turkeys or the pasture-raised eggs, they are hooked and they want to come get more. And even when it comes to something like horses, we know people who lease out their horse to someone that wants to ride horses but cannot afford to have a horse or do not have the land to keep a horse. This would require a monthly fee to help with the horse care and writing in paperwork for yours and their safety. So that's just a little side note. That's not providing food, but it's a way that you can lease a horse and learn to ride a horse if that's something that you're interested in doing. We also have 3 baby doll sheep that we use for children coming to our property for kind of like a petting zoo setup. We also have sold their wool made into dryer balls and had the yarn made from their fleece. Some of these things we have sold, and our friends and neighbors enjoy coming around and buying these homemade products from our farm. We do not raise goats currently on our farm, but we have friends that do, and they milk their mama goats, and we buy their goat milk to drink or make into cheese. So having all the animals on your farm or small yard is not feasible for everyone, and it's not necessary. You can still reach out to local people and farms around you to buy the fresh meat and milk that you would like to have for your family. And so that's a great thing about having a good community where you live. Do you need to grow everything in your garden? And especially if you're a beginner, every squash, every type of tomato, every type of lettuce? Of course not, you don't. First, grow what you like and try a few new things every season just for variety. I think that's the fun part about gardening. There are 3 things that can help you with your garden. The first is a lot of what you grow in your garden will depend on how much space that you have to grow things. Do you have just a few pots to put things in? Do you have a few grow boxes? Do you have a large acreage? So that will determine what you're going to be planting. Secondly, how big is your family? Do you want to share your food with others or just grow enough for your own family? And then thirdly, what do you and your family like to eat? These things will determine how much you can grow. We grow the main things that we love, like tomatoes, peppers, broccoli, cauliflower, squashes, spinach, Swiss chard, beets, lettuce, and herbs. Some of our garden friends grow things like celery, mustard greens, okra, or eggplant. And if we want to try these things, our friends and neighbors are very willing to share what they have. We have tried new things that our friends have shared from their garden, and sometimes we've found new favorites, like, for instance, celery or okra. And having this community of neighbors who grow gardens makes it easy to share what you grow. Many times we have taken tomatoes, peppers, and onions to church activities and shared with our friends. They share what they grow, and we all benefit from the fresh food in our community. Another place that you can go to get garden goodies that for yourself either you can't grow or choose not to grow is at your local farmer's market or store. From these we have brought herbs that we do not grow on our farm, or we found new varieties of vegetables that we have not tried before that are grown locally. And sometimes that gets you excited about growing them in your own garden. But if not, then there are always stores and farmers markets and places where you can buy these things. In the summers and into the fall, where things it's getting really hot where we live, we also like to travel to cooler places in our state to pick out things like strawberries or berries and corn. And in the fall, different varieties of apples. Because their weather is cooler, they can grow different varieties, and their season is a little bit later than ours here. Then they can grow some of those things so that we can continue to have fresh food throughout the summer. We like supporting the farms in our state and getting perfectly ripe fruits and vegetables when our area is too hot, so we can use those even later in the year to make jams and preserved foods. I've also visited with a friend a place in our community where they provide boxes of fresh food for people in our area, and they raise pigs and cows and goats, and they give those things, if it's meat, even meat chickens, they give those as part of their food boxes that they give. And they also raise laying hens, and so they, in their grocery boxes that they give out once a month, that people pay a fee for, which is kind of like sharing the food that you grow, they will give you some meat, whichever kind of meats are available at that time from their farm, and eggs. And then they also have a milk cow, and so they give milk to these families or people that come by. They have what you would call sort of like a herd share type of thing with pigs, where you can raise a pig and then they will butcher the pig, and then that pig will provide meat for your family. They work with another farm that raises a lot of vegetables and fruits, and those go into their packages of food that they give to people once a month. And so that's just another idea. If you're not able to grow everything or do everything on your little farm, or even if you live in a neighborhood, you can go to some of these places that provide fresh food for those in their community. Everyone should try to grow their fresh food as much as they can in the situation that they're at. Even if we are in a small area, or we have a small yard, or even some pots, or even somewhere in our window, we can grow microgreens, we can grow herbs. Maybe a pot can grow a tomato plant. And if we have more space, we can grow more things that we like to eat. What we can't grow or raise ourselves, we can look to our community, to local farmers, for herd shares, for farmers markets, neighbors and friends who raise animals to share, or buy from a farm store or from a market. We can travel outside our area and still find some fresh food in all seasons for our families. And we love that community feeling of growing and sharing food. We just give that counsel or advice from what we've learned by living here on our little hobby farm is that you have to remember that you can't do it all, and especially you can't do it all from the very beginning. You can add things and take away things as you go, but don't try to be doing too much and get overwhelmed with too many animals and trying to grow too many things. Just do a little at a time, and I promise you, if you do that and you also reach out into your community to find other people that are doing things, that you will find that it's much easier, that you're able to handle the things that you have by sharing with other people around you and looking for places where you can get healthy, good food. And I like the idea that there's healthy, homegrown food for everybody out there, and that we can help each other as a community. And it makes me feel good to think that we can help in some small way to make people's lives better. And I appreciate all those little farms and places that have helped us out over the years, and it makes such a big difference. So you really don't have to raise or grow it all, and I guarantee that there is someone out there in your community that would love to help you eat better fresh food. So don't give up, and grow what you can, and then look out in your community to find people that can help you to have fresh food, because everyone deserves the best fresh food that they can find. And I feel like that's a way that we can be more self-sufficient and take care of ourselves, is if we can grow things and support our local community farmers and people that are trying to provide fresh, good food for us. And on our next episode, we're going to be talking about, this will be episode 14, we're going to be talking about building a self-sufficient homestead or small farm. And our goal kind of with that is going to be how to create security and some resilience for your family in building a self-sufficient homestead farm. And that's what we're going to talk about next time on our next episode. And we hope you'll follow along on Spotify and YouTube. We really appreciate you listening. Thank you so much.